So, last week, as of recording this video, the new starters for Pokemon ZA were revealed. Unlike other Pokemon games, which have original starters, the Legends game reuse starters and give them new forms. So I thought it would be fun to try and predict what these new forms could look like, while trying to stick as close as possible to Pokemon's art style. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. So without further ado, on with the show. So first up is Colosseum Meganium. Not unlike the other two, we do have some idea on what new type this evolution will have. You see, if you look at this one frame in the trailer, you'll see Chikorita using Disarming Voice, a fairy-type move that it could not use before. So we can infer that it will likely be a fairy type. Besides, people have been considering making Meganium a fairy type ever since the type was introduced, considering that its entire thing is based on aromatherapy. So going off that and knowing that the Kalos region is based in France, I decided to base Colosseum Meganium off of a plague doctor. Trust me, there's a reason for this, and not just because of my apparent plague doctor aesthetic obsession. Basically, the Black Plague was very common in France and was treated by these plague doctors, who wore very distinctive bird-like masks. However, these masks also had flowers shoved into the beak, believing that the smell would ward off the disease. It didn't work, but this is what Meganium is based on. In addition, I also worked in some inspiration from France's national flower, the iris. I also gave it a long tail because, to be honest, Meganium's short tail always looked dumb to me. So here's the final result. So, the next one we have is N.E.R.D. Now, Gen 5 was my first introduction to Pokemon, and so I have a bit of a nostalgic connection to the starters from this region. N.E.R.D. is admittedly my least favorite of the Novan starters, but still. Now for the Colosseum redesign, I primarily based the design on gargoyles, such as the one commonly seen on the N.E.R.D Cathedral, which is in France, which Kalos is based off of. Now, my favorite Disney movie of all time is Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I'll be honest, most of the Pokemon was based on Judge Furlow's death scene.
And he shall smite the wicked and plunge them into the fiery pit.
So yeah, I turned that into a pig. Plus, the Notre Dame Cathedral did catch fire a few years ago, so the connection goes even further. The other major source of inspiration for this Pokemon was French cooking. As anyone who's ever seen Ratatouille knows, France is known for its food. So I made this based on a French oven with a few Michelin star patterns thrown in. So with that, here's Colosseum N.E.R.D. Now the last one for today is for Alligator. Now, if you allow me to rant for a bit, I don't understand why Feraligatr is here. Don't get me wrong, I like Feraligatr as a Pokemon. If you know my channel, you'll know I'm a big fan of anything big and vaguely reptilian. However, we already had a starter from Johto, that being Chikorita. I feel as if two starters in the same region throws off the balance completely. And now we have basically the same starter trio from Johto, but Cyndaquil had to be replaced by Tepig due to the allegations. In addition, there was already a water-type starter Pokemon that was perfect to be in this game, that being Piplup. For those who don't know, Piplup involves to Empoleon, a Pokemon literally named after Napoleon Bonaparte. The Kalos region is based on France, so adding it here would have been perfect, but instead we have two Johto starters. But I can work with this. Surprisingly, France has a rather interesting history with alligators. Not only do they have the largest alligator population in Europe, but also various legends regarding crocodiles, which I know are different, but Pokemon treats them as the same thing, so I'm going to as well for now. Most notably, the Crocodile of Lyon, which terrorized France in 1745, and its corpse is allegedly taxidermied in a famous France hotel. Between this and France's surprisingly large population of albino alligators, I decided to make this Feraligatr a ghost type. Other than that, I did not change much, only making it more quadrupedal because it looked cool. Anyway, here's the final result. If you want to see me give these guys mega evolutions, comment below. But until then, goodbye, and I'll remember you all in therapy.